What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here with your $1,400 third stimulus check update. First, we're going to talk with Senator Ron Wyden on the third stimulus check package, the timing, the details, and then we're going to talk about the multiple different kinds of stimulus checks that are going to be going out to different people from the third stimulus package when it comes out. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe down below so you don't miss out on new updates on the third stimulus package, as well as other things such as student loan forgiveness, Social Security increases, mortgage and rental assistance, and more. And hit the like button for us, it really helps out our channel. Okay, so the name Ron Wyden may be familiar to you. He is one of the co-authors, along with Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer and Senator Elizabeth Warren and Ron Wyden, to unveil the increased benefits of $200 per month for all Social Security beneficiaries. This is where he comes into play, and he's been a senator for a while. He's one of the most prominent senators on the Democratic team in the Senate. Let's hear what he has to say on the third stimulus check package, details and timeline.
Joining me now is Senator Ron Wyden, the new chairman of the Senate Finance Committee. Mr. Chairman, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me again.
Let's start with COVID relief. President Biden has made it clear he's not budging on the $1,400 checks, but he's open to debating the income levels. At what income level do you think these checks should start phasing out?
Jessica, I support the thresholds that the president called for. And here's the point. People who got the first two checks are expecting a third. And the fact is, the pandemic has hit these families like a wrecking ball. They're just balancing the food bill against the fuel bill and the fuel bill against the rent bill. And I have people coming up to me and saying, Ron, I'm going to use this money to make my car insurance payment. So I am for the original Biden proposal, the $1,400, the threshold. We're going to have a pretty vigorous debate all the way through the process.
And lawmakers on the House side have proposed a new plan that would give parents up to $300 a month per child. Do you think you'd be willing to accept maybe a little less on stimulus checks or unemployment benefits if you have that beefed up child benefit?
I believe that the Senate proposal is the way to go, offered by my colleagues, Senator Brown and Senator Bennett. I know that the House continues to make adjustments, but here's the bottom line here. We need to significantly reduce the poverty that we're seeing with youngsters from sea to shining sea. We're better than that. We're better than that. I'm committed to doing it.
What about the minimum wage hike? We heard from President Biden saying that he doesn't think this can get done necessarily through reconciliation. Do you think this is something that you can do through the reconciliation process?
I believe there are ways to get through the bird rule thicket. But here's the big issue here. We know that when we get vaccinations, the economy is going to pick up. I think we'll see workers come back to the workforce. Their wages will be up. They deserve a wage that allows them to pay rent, buy groceries, pay for essentials. I support the proposal.
Even if you do get through the bird rule issues, how do you convince someone like Senator Manchin or maybe a few other moderate Democrats to support this?
Well, as the sponsors have said, this would be phased in. You know, people have been wondering exactly how it would work. And some people said, well, we can't do it in 20 minutes. It's phased in.
Bottom line, do you think before we hit this unemployment benefit cliff in mid-March that we're going to see a bill on the president's desk?
Bottom line is anything else would be absolutely unacceptable. To have those workers in the middle of March, because the benefit runs out March 14th, fall into another economic abyss would just be wrong. And I'd also point out that I wrote the original unemployment package, which allowed for an extra $600 per week, covered the new workers, gig workers, the self-employed, independent contractors. And that was at a time when we had fewer virus cases than we do now.
I know we've talked before how you want to stop these cliffs. You want to avoid these unemployment cliffs that we keep seeing every few months. Do you think you're going to be able to get that done as Senate Finance Chair?
I was very pleased that at our urging, President Biden chose to make a specific note in his most recent economic statement when he was outlining the proposal that he wanted to get this done. He knows that it is absurd to just be plucking these arbitrary dates out of the air. Arbitrary, by the way, picked by Mitch McConnell, so that Mitch McConnell will have more leverage over the debates. And it's time to tie the benefit to economic conditions on the ground. And I've been talking to my Republican colleagues. They've said, look, Ron, we understand the need for a real benefit, the kind of benefit you're talking about when big numbers of folks are out of work. What's going to happen as the economy gets better? Well, under our proposal, the benefits then taper off.
Senator Wyden here will also talk about the potential higher taxes and who it might affect going forward.
Another big item on your to-do list this year in the Senate Finance Committee is dealing with taxes. President Biden ran on raising taxes on the wealthy, on corporations. Where do you start?
You start with the fact we've got two tax codes in America. What I'm telling people is you could have a nurse, for example, in Coos Bay, Oregon, on the beautiful Oregon coast, treating COVID patients. And that nurse pays taxes with every single paycheck, every one. And then you have somebody who's really well connected, has great lawyers and great accountants, and to a great extent, their taxes are optional. They can really pay to a great extent when they feel like it. I want to change that. Everybody ought to pay their fair share.
So in the past, you've called for revamping the way capital gains are taxed. Your plan that you proposed in 2019 would tax unrealized gains each year for high earners. Is that something you're going to pursue this Congress?
Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. We recently looked at some published reports, and their data sets are associated with it, that said something like 600 billionaires recently, if they had been paying taxes during the pandemic at regular rates, the kind of rates that we have today, it pretty much could have covered the stimulus checks. So we've got to have a system that ensures that everyone pays, and it ought to give everybody in America the opportunity to get ahead. That's what I'm looking at.
So would that mean you would consider that mark-to-market approach again?
I certainly think that for those who are billionaires, the tax code should not be optional. We're looking at a variety of different approaches.
Is Senator Warren's wealth tax one of those approaches? I know she said, as a new member of your committee, she's going to introduce that legislation.
Senator Warren has been a champ for working families, and her ideas are important. We've got a lot of members with important ideas. And look, Senator Warren shares my view that if you have a nurse, who's paying taxes with every single paycheck, and you have people who are well connected and they're to a great extent doing something very differently and not paying for long periods of time, that's not right.
With a 50-50 split in the Senate, do you think we should expect another reconciliation bill for the next fiscal year with tax hikes in it?
Certainly, we've already been voting on that issue. I supported the Rubio amendment. We're not going to have tax hikes during the pandemic. I also support President Biden's proposal with respect to $400,000. I think those are going to be the key criteria.
So let me know your thoughts on the potential higher taxes. It seems like it's mostly geared towards the rich and corporations, but remember, corporations are the ones that employ people. So let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Next up, let's talk about some of the different multiple buckets of money or stimulus checks or stimulus money that is going to be in the third stimulus check package. Number one is an unemployment extension boost of actually a raise. It's currently at $300 per week. This will now be $400 per week stimulus checks for unemployed workers. And a recent study said that this would replace, along with their state unemployment checks, 86% of lost wages for many workers. Normal unemployment only covers about 38% of pre-layoff wages on averages based on the third quarter of 2020 when there was no unemployment boost because, well, they couldn't come to an agreement before the election. So that will raise it from 38% to 86% of lost wages. The current details on the proposal in the third stimulus check package is $400 per week that will start when the $300 per week bonus ends, which is in mid-March. So even if they pass this week or next week, that $400 will kick in when the $300 ends, regardless of whether they pass it beforehand, because the $300 per week is already allocated. It's already been passed from the second stimulus check package. So the $400 per week will kick in when that ends, which is in mid-March, and will then be $400 per week, which is $1,600 per month for people that have lost their jobs right now due to the pandemic. This is in addition to their state unemployment money that you get every week. Next up, number 2 set of stimulus checks is going to go to anybody with children or anybody who has at least the dependent children on their tax return. So, what is in the third stimulus check package, and we know this for sure right now. Again, any of these details could change, but right now, these are pretty much kind of in there. There could be some small tweaks, but I don't expect a lot of changes on these details that we're going over right now. Number 1 is $3,600 to children under the age of 6. And for children over the age of 6, $3,000 from ages 6 to 17. Now, the way this works is this is an expansion of the child tax credit. What they're doing is they're raising the child tax credit, which was previously raised. Ivanka Trump actually got a lot of credit for championing this. She raised it up to $2,000. The Democrats now want to raise it to $3,000 for children ages 6 through 17 and $3,600 for children under the age of 6. But the best part about this is, well, I don't know, the increase of 50 to 75% is very good. But the other very good thing about this is that they're going to send it to you or send it to the families. I mean, obviously, this isn't going to go to 1-year-old and 2-year-old and 8-year-old kids. The check goes to the parent who claims them on their tax return. So if it's a married couple, then it goes to the married couple. But if you have a separate custody, it's going to probably end up going to the person who has custody. Now, you can change this if you want to by filing your 2020 tax return and having the other parent claim the child on their taxes. So keep that in mind. It's just a little tip if you want to change this and have this go to the other parent or something along those lines. But what they're going to be doing is actually sending you out monthly checks, very similar to the way they do stimulus checks or they do Social Security checks, probably via direct deposit or checks in the mail, which will be a lot slower. But instead of, say, $3,000 for children ages 6 through 17, they're going to send you $250 per month every single month for at least 1 year. This will be basically direct deposited to you or sent in the mail, and your $3,000 divided by 12 is $250 per month. They expect the payments to start in July, even if they pass this week or next week, because the IRS is not set up for a system like this. And well, we know states, for example, we know how long it takes states to figure out how to send out unemployment checks. Some states are very far behind, and well, they've had a lot of practice at doing this. So they're going to give the IRS a couple months to kind of set up this system, and they're expecting to have these checks go out in July. $250 per month for ages 6 through 17, every child, and $300 per month for children under the age of 6, or $3,600 per year. There's also a lot of Democrats that are pushing to make this permanent. I expect that they won't make it permanent at first, but after they realize how well it's doing for a lot of children in America, a recent study said that it would reduce childhood poverty by over 50% in the US alone just from this one stimulus package. So I have a feeling that when this kind of dies down and gets close to ending, there will be a big push to extend it for another year or make it permanent. Remember, the push behind these issues, such as Social Security increases or student loan forgiveness or child tax stimulus checks or tax credits that come to you in a stimulus check every month. Uh, all the like hype behind it and the momentum behind it and people talking about it on YouTube and people writing their senators and people pushing about it and people talking on TV about it, that gets people excited and creates the push. For example, we go back to student loan forgiveness. A few years ago, student loan forgiveness was not even a thing. Now it's a very real possible thing. And we literally have Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer talking about doing up to $50,000 in student loan forgiveness. When you have the Senate Majority Leader talking about that, well, that's a very good thing. If he was talking about something else, that would be a very good thing for that other stimulus package. I will keep you updated on all of these as well. Next up is the main stimulus check, the $1,400 stimulus checks. The current income proposal limits is $75,000. Anybody under $75,000 as a single would get the full $1,400. It's also going to be $1,400 for children this time around and $1,400 for adult dependents, somebody who is a dependent on somebody else's tax return, like college students or full adults, will be getting the $1,400 this time, at least at this moment. We do not know the details on if they will be getting the $600 or the $1,200 from the first stimulus checks. Remember, this stimulus check is supposed to increase the check to $2,000. So it's unclear on if adult dependents will get the $600 in addition to the $1,400. I will keep you updated. But $75,000 and under will get the full $1,400 stimulus check, up to $99,000. After $99,000 for a single filer will not get the stimulus check. Head of household starts at $112,000. So they have an increase if you're a single filer but a head of household. And married couples will double to $75,000. So under $150,000 would get the full stimulus checks, and up to $198,000 will get no stimulus check after that. If you're in between the $75,000 and $99,000 for an individual, it gets decreased. Your check gets decreased. The more you make, the closer you get to $99,000, and you just double that for a couple. There's also a couple other different things in here that we'll talk about more in other videos, such as $1,400 per week sick leave if you have COVID or if you have a child that has COVID and you have to care for them or you have to stay home with them from work, $1,400 per week. There's also a $4,000 child care credit. So if you pay for child care right now, for example, $200 a week, which would be over $10,000 a year, if you have to pay that, if you have to go to a job and your kid goes to childcare, you can actually get 50% of that written off as a child care credit, tax credit. Although this one is you cannot get in the form of a monthly check to you. It'll have to be on your taxes, which is not quite as good, but still good nonetheless. Up to $4,000 per child, 50% you can write off. So if you paid $8,000 for, and you have one child, you paid $8,000 for the year for child care, you could get 50% of that as a tax credit, up to $4,000 per child. I will keep you updated on all the different stimulus checks and stimulus buckets of money that are going to be in the third stimulus check package, as well as the fourth stimulus check package that has already been announced that is coming after the third one, as well as standalone bills and presidential executive orders that could be coming out. There's a lot of momentum right now for student loan forgiveness and possibly Social Security increases of $200 per month in the future. I will keep you updated. Make sure you subscribe down below and click the bell icon to all notifications so you get notifications when we go live. New videos come out at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., 8 p.m., and 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Notifications are a little bit buggy right now. They're not going out for the 10 a.m. video each day. So you just got to kind of remember 10 a.m. Eastern time and just open up YouTube. And if you don't see the thumbnail there for our newest video of the morning, just type in "It's Jimmy" and go to our channel and watch the newest video. You can click this top video here to watch my newest stimulus check video that's already out next. Or you can click on this video, which is about starting your own business selling products on Amazon FBA. I have dozens of students that have replaced their 9-to-5 income selling products on Amazon, and I teach them how to do that. Click on one of those videos to watch them next. Thanks, guys, and I will see you in the next video.